Hey guys, welcome back, and today we're going to be checking out Do Not Sleep on Lancelot from Fate Zero, Berserker from Fate Zero. I'll be honest, I was really interested in this character, but I didn't really get too many fleshing out of his storyline. We got a quick backstory on why he became Berserkers, because he wasn't punished by Ortoria, and the grief, like, kind of building up in his body, and him uh, kind of snapping. That part was why he became Berserker in the Fate Zero Holy Grail War, and it all sounded really, really interesting. I just wish we got to see more of him. We didn't really see too much. I think he maybe fought 3 times. I think in the first encounter with Gilgamesh, and then with Saber at the very end. He was a very strong servant. So I'm curious to see metric wise where he stacks up compared to the other servants like Ortoria, Ku, freaking Gilgamesh, Karna. I actually saw a comment saying that he might have actually beaten Gilgamesh in some situations, but I take YouTube comments always with a grain of salt. But hey, we're gonna see what Tsiah says. Let's get into it.
All right, the time is now. The critically acclaimed strongest knight of the round table, the quintessential perfect knight, Sir Lancelot. Let's show him how it's done. Starting off strong, you have his fight against Artoria herself, where he caught her Excalibur with his hands alone. Despite her sword skill, despite his power. What makes this even more incredible is that she was using invisible air, meaning he couldn't even see the path from where the blade was coming, and still pulled it off. In his fight against Gil, one of the greatest flexes in the entire franchise.
The fact that just fighting Gilgamesh and living is a feat in itself. Just kind of shows how broken Gilgamesh is. We're gonna get to Don't Sleep on Gilgamesh soon. We're gonna get to that eventually. Don't worry.
This man fended off not 1, but 16 of Gil's noble phantasms back to back, all of them being on the level of divine mystery, a level of skill that had everybody at the scene in shock. In the 100 Years War...
I got hold on. What was he saying? There's no subtitles, unfortunately, so I have to listen hard.
And fended off not 1, but 16 of Gil's noble phantasms back to back, all of them being on the level of divine mystery.
That's probably really strong. Divine mystery, noble phantasms are probably like top level noble phantasms, and he's just like bang, 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 bang. He's broken. Lancelot's broken. Holy crap.
Level of skill that had everybody at the scene in shock. In the 100 Years War Singularity, Lancelot was casually cutting off multiple heads of the French soldiers at one time. In his fight against Gil, it tells us that he took multiple phantasms from Gil and chopped through the pole he was standing on like butter. He even caught one of the phantasms out the air.
That was so cool.
And responded to the rest of Gil's attacks.
That was so cool.
Same weapon. You ran into the right one today. Despite her being injured by Diarmu, he immediately overwhelmed Saber with his great power. The manga even going as
Who would she fight?
He immediately overwhelmed
Wait, hold on.
to the right one today, despite her being injured by Diarmu.
Diarmu. Oh, I don't know who that is. Who's that guy? Must not be important. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. We're gonna do Diarmu soon too.
He immediately overwhelmed Saber with his great power. The manga even going as far to show us that he pushed her back a long distance. With just 3 quick hits, he was able to
I wish he had more screen time, bro. He's broken.
The door of Kirisugu's storehouse and make it fall off the hinges. The strength of him knocking down this door being compared to a mechanical crane. In the first Singularity, he had one-shotted countless French soldiers just by punching straight through them. At the pier against Saber, it tells us that even if she was uninjured, it's highly unlikely she would be able to handle his massive power. He got stomped out 8 times by Iskander's divine bulls and was able to shake it off despite the injuries being fatal.
I need to see Iskander too. I need to see how he stacks up to the other writers like Astolfo or Medusa. I need to see it.
Even had Iskander, who complimented his survival
Yeah.
and began to praise his durability. He also mentioned that the attack should have been more fatal, but Lancelot twisted his body out of the way of the chariot. In the first singularity, he tanked a head-on
This is in grand order, right?
St. George while he was
When they're
riding
talking
his
about
horse.
singularities
In the
and all that.
servant verse, you have Jane mention that he was constantly taking asteroid debris to the face and wasn't even bothered. At the time that Gil was shooting him with several phantasms, his entire barrel exploded in his hand and he just tanked it.
Wow.
He disguised himself.
This dude's a tank.
as
Holy crap,
Iskander.
man! I need to see a fight between him and Hercules.
Fatally injured Maya and made off with Irisville before Kirisugu could even get off his command spell. Mind you that he used this command spell to teleport Saber in milliseconds. He covered 500 meters in less than half a second.
Yeah,
This
that speed's
means that
insane.
he was moving several times Mach speed for just a casual task. In his fight against Saber, we know that she smashed her Excalibur straight into his forehead and his helmet was strong enough to tank it.
Yeah.
From the
This dude's a
100-year
tank, holy crap.
singularity, we know that Lancelot has the ability to heal himself by using the blood of fallen soldiers. In Fate
That's
Zero,
badass.
we know that he was able to grab a hold of a fighter jet that again is traveling at Mach speeds. He has ridiculous amounts of durability, being able to dodge St. George's attack right after
Saint
having
George.
his
He's a servant too. Holy crap, man! I need to get in the Fate Grand Order.
When it comes
Eventually.
to Lancelot, anybody can get it. Just minutes after his confrontation with Gil, he was already going after Saber with his newly found weapon.
I like how we're like 4 minutes in. We haven't even gotten to his noble phantasm yet. We're just talking about his physical attributes.
Kirisugu mentioning his monstrous dexterity, even though he had just obtained this weapon. In the servant verse, you had Ishtar mention that his bloodlust is unlike anything she's ever seen before. In Fate Zero, it tells us that his will is so powerful that it took Karya 2 command spells just to get him to follow orders.
Dang.
In his assault against Saber, it tells us that in spite of her wound, it was actually his skill that was giving her no opening for a response. In the Einsburn consultation,
I like how they kind of clarified that. Yeah, even if she wasn't injured, she still probably would have gotten overpowered by him in that situation. Yeah, I'm glad they made that disparity because the power scares are gonna be like, actually she was injured, full powered. Saber in that situation would have clobbed him. Yeah, there you go.
Lancelot mentioned that when he went up
Full powered, no, like non-injured. That's what I'm saying, not full powered. That's the
against
difference.
Arthur's regular knights,
I would
he
like
was
to see
beating
Saber
them all.
versus
He has
Saber
a
Alter versus
relentless
Lancelot.
will
That'd be
when
fire.
It comes to war, Ishtar mentioning that he wouldn't give up even when he was pushed back. In the first singularity, he went up against Elizabeth, Mozart, and St. George at the same time.
Hold on, Mozart? What? No, I love the figures they pick. Not even just like soldiers, but just like historical figures in general. Like where's the freaking George Washington servant? Where's that?
And they still couldn't take him. In a confrontation that he had with
Wait, have they done Richard the Lionheart for one of the servants? That'd be a good servant.
his
You already done
fierce
King Arthur.
power was enough to
Well, Richard the Lionheart is King Arthur, but whatever. Whatever.
completely disarm her of her flagpole. He landed a brutal hit against St. George, causing him to cough up blood,
Damn.
which ironically also healed him. He casually put Tristan in a sleeper hold and had him begging
I'm
to
assuming
let him
Tristan
out.
is broken?
You have his internal arms mastery.
Oh, shoot, that's
making
one
him
of the
an
main characters
expert
of Grand
in
Order.
Any type of weapon that you can think of, even under his madness
Hold on.
enhancement.
I'm talking over some parts. Let's go back a little bit.
Put Tristan in a sleeper hold and had him begging to let him out. You have his internal arms mastery, making him an expert in any type of weapon that you can think of.
Yeah.
Even under his madness enhancement, which would usually lower his grade, his skills will never deteriorate.
Yeah.
You have his holy
That's
sword
not that's
arm
one thing. That's one thing. The one thing is multiple people mentioned in my comments is Berserker Hercules was actually kind of a nerf because he was not able to use like some of his more sophisticated skills like 9 lives blade works, that thing that Shiro pulled in Heaven's Feel. He was able to do that too, but madness thing he's not able to do it. So, but in the Lancelot's case, it's actually a good thing. Wow.
which is stated to never take damage no matter what type of attack you put against it. Due to his great power, he takes up ridiculous amounts of magical energy, using what would last most servants several hours in a matter of 10 seconds. In his berserker form, it's stated that his strength is more comparable to an Avenger than a heroic spirit. It also has the unique curse for someone's glory that hides his identity and his body to the point where it might feel like you're hallucinating. Waver mentioned while he could normally see the prowess of a servant, he couldn't see anything coming from Lancelot.
And you know, not knowing about a servant when you fight them, that's a big problem in the Fate universe, or just first in general. Just not knowing about your opponent, that's a big problem. So the fact that he like a big part of his character is like being an undefined factor, that's scary.
Thing goes for Mash. Even up close, she couldn't make out his identity. By using his command spells, Karya was able to force a new ability through the curse that allowed him to shapeshift into Iskander.
Yeah.
But it could only be used one time. His transformation was so well done that it tricked Saber despite her normally high awareness. And of course, how could we forget his unique phantasm Knight of Honor, which allows him
We just got to the noble phantasm, and we're halfway through the video.
turn anything into his noble phantasm as long as he can control it. Nasu mentioned that taking over something like a battleship is out of his league, but as we saw in Fate Zero, he can take complete control of a fighter jet with no problem. He used one of these same fighter jets to go up against Gil and his aircraft, dodging several of his phantasms and spinning so hard that he ruptured the organs of the pilot that was inside. By
Dang.
infusing his
I completely
magical
forgot there was a
energy,
pilot inside the plane.
he was able to keep up with Gil's Vimana, an ancient Indian aircraft that we know fights on a high level.
Oh yeah, you know anything Indian in Fate, broken.
He continued to dodge a number of Gil's phantasms, and though they came close, Lancelot was still able to survive just moments before hitting the ground. Gil himself couldn't believe it. He was also shown using his magical energy for manipulations.
Oh my god,
rerouting
bro, I was
the
so impressed with the
trajectory
3D
of his
CGI in
missiles
Fate Zero.
post-fire,
It looks so
then
good.
turning the jet's flares into inferno grenades
Yep.
and knocking down Gil's entire ship. You had Iskander call Gil out for prolonging their upcoming battle, but it was mostly because he was injured by Lancelot. Once again, Lancelot was out here moving like a menace. Once he got finished with Gil, he went straight for Saber for the second time around.
Bro,
dumping
going
numerous
straight from Gilgamesh to Saber, that's a crazy gauntlet in of itself, but the fact that he was able to like hold his own against both,
which is
that's
stated to come out at least 12,000 rounds per minute. Add on the fact that it was being reinforced by his magical energy, and it was more like a hailstorm of death. It also mentioned how he casually tore off this cannon, which weighs over 400 pounds. In their fight at the garage, he instantly blew up Saber's entire motorcycle the moment she entered the building. The novel tells us my boy was out here toting 2 machine guns, firing them both at 20 bullets a second. It also tells us
insane.
that he obliterated an entire truck, turning it into iron chips. The sheer force behind his sniper rifle made his bullets come out like it was a grenade launcher.
Woo!
In the short time that he did catch her phantasm, he was already beginning to corrupt it and turn it into his weapon.
Yeah.
In FGO, he turned a log and chopsticks into his phantasm with just his bare hands. Moriarty mentioned how Lancelot defeated several knights, including Gareth and Agravain. In the Camelot Singularity, he shot down Da Vinci's entire aircraft. With
he's in Fate Grand Order. Let's go.
one lunge.
He's in
from
the
his
movies,
sword.
too.
He literally one-shotted a Sphinx without even looking. A
Oh my
divine
God.
beast that's stronger than some servants. Just a few strikes from his blade had Bedivere falling over his feet. He fended off Mash and Sanzo back to back with no.
Well, this is Grand Order spoilers, but I don't really care.
issue. He has great maneuvering.
I know he's broken.
Able to dodge one of Galahad's attacks, casually run up the side of a pyramid and a nearby pillar. He flat out
these Grand Order settings look beautiful.
Gawain's Galatine while he was being boosted by the sun. With just one lunge of his halberd, he was able to massacre over 10 Enforcer Knights at the same time.
Oh my god.
His speed and his
Oh my gosh,
is
these
next
movies look
level.
insane. All right,
He
I'm gonna try
sliced
not.
through a massive block of stone at the last second.
I'm definitely gonna like erase these from my memory after I'm done recording.
Away. He tussled with a countless amount of Agravain's magical knights and still came through.
Yep.
He was literally cutting these same knights in half while in mid-air.
Ooh, these animations. I'm gonna just pay attention to the audio.
He survived Da Vinci's self-destruction and even saved her after the fact. He tanked 3 brutal hits from Galahad and wasn't even trying. He tanked a direct thrust from Galahad's shield, still wasn't trying.
She's probably broken.
An enormous block of stone from Agravain
Oh my gosh.
while being
Animation,
held
hello.
down by his chains. He blocked multiple arrows from the sharpshooter Arash at close range with no time to react. He blocked another set, taking one of his arrows head on.
Is this him a servant? Is this him being a servant, or is this just him in life?
Arash tried to do a surprise attack.
Wouldn't him being a servant make him stronger?
Dodging what should have been fatal. We know from Cursed Arm Hassan that he straight up off-screen the Hassan of the Trembling Pipe. That name is hilarious, by the way. In the Lion King's conversation with Agravain, she mentions how his limbs were broken, his chest was torn open, and he lost an entire eye after his fight with Lancelot. Agravain even complimenting Lancelot for his incredible power. In Bedivere's flashback, we see him go head-to-head with Gawain, which we know from his original lore is the same battle where Lancelot gave Gawain a mortal wound that led to his death. He mentions himself his skill at concealing his presence despite carrying all of his armor. He released a number of energy waves against Da Vinci's vehicle when he was chasing them down. He also shot multiple of these same energy waves when he was fending off her aircraft. He landed a mortal hit on the spirit Arash and blew up his entire body with his overload effect. He used these same delayed explosions against Agravain multiple times. I mean, were we really expecting anything different? He's got the speed, the skill, and the strength to back it up, but most importantly, the drip is magnificent. You gotta get this A rank, my guy.
Are everyone gonna get A rank? I feel like everyone except Emiya got the A rank.
Can't buy this type of sauce in the store. Who can take it up a notch after such a showcase? We'll find out next.
Nice. That was fantastic. I was already really interested in Lancelot. I was looking through the series of what don't sleep video I should do next, and I saw Lancelot. I was like, oh, I gotta do this because I barely know anything about him. But hey. Dude's broken. I did not hear a single weakness he had. All I heard was just glaze for 12 minutes. It's great. Holy crap, man. Wow. Okay. Like I actually would like I would like some people to probably comment down what weaknesses they have, because I didn't hear any. Bro is just amazing in fighting. He's amazing in strategy. He has a broken foot noble phantasm. His freaking battle experience is insane. Like, holy crap, this dude is they said he was the strongest on the round table, so maybe even stronger than Artoria in some situations. I don't know. That might be a little off. I have no idea about that. But yeah, he's definitely on her level at least. Yeah. Wow, what a great video. A little bit of spoilers from Fate Grand Order, but thankfully my memory is not the best, so I'm probably gonna forget most of this as soon as I stop recording. But yeah, what a great video. I love doing these videos, man. Let me know what you guys want me to do next. Shiro and Gilgamesh will be coming, and Artoria will be coming eventually, but that's gonna be later on. I'm trying to get to the little bit more underappreciated ones. I was thinking of maybe doing DR Mood next, because I did cool, and that was a fun thing. So I'm curious to see the stats and metrics of DR Mood instead. But I thank you guys so much for watching. I had such a great time. I'll see you guys in the next one.